Hi everyone! Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel, Hybrided Jamaican-American Art, a special kind of art. Today, I'm going to be making Jamaican brown stewed chicken that my Jamaican auntie taught me how to make. I've made it on here before, but this time I want it to be a little spicy. To do so, I'll be using black pepper, onion powder, Maggie powder, ground garlic, thyme leaves, Jamaican browning, and to make it spicy, Scotch bonnet sauce. Oil for cooking, and onion to cook it with. So let's get started. Now, as you may have seen in some of my previous posts, I like to cut slits into the chicken pieces. That way, the seasonings can get to the chicken better, marinate better, and taste better. It's not something you have to do, but I like to do it. And I actually learned it from a Haitian cooking YouTube channel. You don't need a lot of cutting, but just a bit. So now, I'm going to season the chicken. And you don't have to put the seasonings in any particular way. But I'm adding the pepper. I'm getting pepper all over the place too. Onion powder. I'm going to add Maggie. And I actually, just so you can see, I just have a little slit in there. So that way too much won't come out at one time. I also try and get seasoning in between the skin and the meat. When I don't cut off the skin, because sometimes I will remove skin from chicken. Not often, but sometimes I do. And it's actually a trick I learned from one of my Jamaican friends in high school. Both her parents are Jamaican. With me, it's my mother who's Jamaican and my daddy who is American. They were both black, but they came from different cultures. And as one of my friends were saying, a family friend was saying, coming from different cultures, even if you're the same race, coming from different cultures can have very big cultural differences. So I just put on the garlic powder. Now I'm going to add some thyme, and again, since it hasn't got, I put it in here for better control. You can always add more, because I probably will. So it's easier to have to add more than take off for less. Now I think I'm going to add a little bit more seasoning. And then I let it marinate because we don't use the browning until it's time for cooking. So I'm going to add a little bit more garlic powder. I personally like garlic and garlic powder. But just because I like it, that's not to say everyone has to like it. Just because I use it, that's not to say everyone has to use it. You can basically use your own seasonings. The only seasonings that I do not use and will not use are salt seasonings, like salt and onion salt and garlic salt. As a rule, I do not use those. It's the way I was brought up. From my Jamaican mother's cooking. As it's healthier. One of my best friends from college had pointed out that it's not that you can't have salt, because obviously your body needs some salt, but not excess salt. That's why I don't cook with, and I don't add salt onto foods. And with some foods, I'll even soak the salt out. A positive trick my Jamaican mother taught me. I mean, Jamaican mother, she taught me how to cook some Jamaican foods too. It's just that when it came to the Jamaican cooking, it's the one cooking area that my auntie was better. Okay, so don't need more seasoning. Any of the dry seasoning. So just marinate it because you want it to really get in there. And back in the day, I didn't use my hands. I would just sprinkle it on and use a spoon, which I still often do, but for something like this, getting your hands into it is better, which is why I wear gloves. Not just because of my own protection, but me personally, who wants to eat food that people have had their grubby hands in all the time, even if they're washed. Again, not saying everybody has to follow my lead, but that's just me. Okay, like I was saying, we don't use the browning until it's time to cook. But what I am going to do is I'm going to add a bit, just a bit, of the Scotch Bonnet pepper sauce. Now, reason why you only want to add a little, just a little, is when I say spicy, Scotch Bonnet is very spicy. I like spicy foods, but not to the point where it'll blow your head off. And being that this is going to be marinating, it's going to be even spicier. So just a little bit on each piece. I know it didn't seem like much, but trust me, this is good. And part of the reason why I chose the sauce instead of just cutting up Scotch Bonnet peppers, again, marinade. And another reason why I use the sauce, this particular Scotch Bonnet sauce, is because one of the Jamaican restaurants that I often frequent visit and eat food from, they sell it. Sophie's Homestyle Cafe. I believe you can get it for like $6, and She is actually located in Poughkeepsie, New York. She too has a YouTube page, so it'll be easy if you want to get in contact with her to get the Scotch bonnet sauce and other things. I think she also has like carrot juice and sometimes sorrel, which my mother, she taught me how to make sorrel. And other things, but again, Sophie's Homestyle Cafe is where I get my Scotch bonnet pepper sauce from. Poughkeepsie, New York. And 845 3736. No, I'm sorry, 845 337 3998, I believe, is her number. I asked her. She said it's fine to have people contact her. So now I think I've marinated it pretty well. Now you don't have to let it sit, but I'm the type who likes to let it sit for a few hours, often overnight. And then when it's all marinated and it's ready to cook, I'll be back. Okay, so the chicken has marinated for several hours now. So now it's time to start cooking it. I put the stove to low to medium heat because I start out by browning the chicken in some oil. Don't need a lot, but keep it handy just in case you need a little bit more. So now, in goes the chicken. It's going to take a little while, just for it to start browning. Now, when I say browning the chicken in some oil, I don't mean that you have to make it brown. Just so that it cooks some before you continue with the cooking process. So see, now that it's a little brown, you're going to add some water and add the water and the browning. You can do either one first, but I'm going to add some browning first. And then stir it some. You want to keep, although you don't want to do it too much, you do want to flip your chicken so it's not overcooked on one side and undercooked on the other. Now I'm going to add some water. Of course, the water is going to be what cooks it. And you're going to need to add more water than what you have here, or what I have here. And I'm going to start adding a little bit more browning. Some people like it really brown, some people like it light brown. I've done both. And so now I'm going to cover the chicken so it can start to cook. And we'll be back. And while the chicken is cooking, I'll slice the onions that I'll be adding to it later. Now, many times with the chickens that I cook, I'll add vegetables to them separately. But for the stewed chicken, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to add the onions. Okay, I think the chicken's been cooking for about maybe 10-12 minutes now. You can see it's getting brown, but of course it's not cooked. It'll be a while before it's cooked, especially since it's big pieces. And of course, as you can tell, you're going to need more water. Just add some water. And just keep your eye on it until it's cooked. Like me Auntie said, keep your eye on it until it's cooked down. And it's a good thing to keep your eye on things, because after I looked at the chicken pieces, realized that half an onion, this size, medium-sized onion, is not enough. So I'm going to cut the rest of the onion. If it's too much, then I can always save this leftovers for something else, but so I actually am going to use the whole medium-sized onion. Now, like I said, when I was seasoning the chicken, I already have a video of making Jamaican stew chicken. But I wanted this one to be a little spicy, which is why I marinated it with a few drops of Sophie's Homestyle Cafe Scotch Bonnet pepper sauce. Sophie's Homestyle Cafe. She's located in Poughkeepsie, New York. She has a YouTube channel, and she can be contacted at 845-337-3998. And also got to mix that around because you don't want the seasoning to be settled in one place. As you can see, the chicken is getting brown. It's getting cooked. Of course, it's got more cooking to do. Because even though I like my beef rare chicken, no siree. So I'm going to kind of let it cook down a bit more. And when it's closer to being cooked, I'll add the onions. Being that it's covered in the brown sauce, it might be kind of hard to tell when the chicken is ready. So a good thing to do, stick the knife in it, and honey, if you can tell from here, that most certainly is not done. Still kind of raw. So just keep cooking. Like me Auntie said, my Auntie taught me, just eye it more you do it, the better you get at it. She told me practice, practice, practice. And sadly, she passed before I came up with the YouTube channel, before I thought to come up with the YouTube channel. And the only real reason why I thought to come up with it, really be serious about it, is because her grandnephew, as you probably have heard me say before, told me, Auntie, you should do some of your cooking on YouTube. I think it's safe to say it's still going to need more water because you don't want the water to boil out and the chicken to be burning. So I'm just going to keep cooking it down. And again, when it's closer to being ready, I'll add the onions. But obviously it needs to cook more. Now, another good way to tell if your chicken is cooked is if it starts falling off the bone when cooking. That's a good sign. Now, this one isn't falling off the bone, which I don't want it to for this type of chicken. But it's just about ready. I'm going to let it cook some more so that the onions can cook some. Like I said, I don't like overcooked, but I do want them cooked some. I don't want them raw for this. But my Jamaican stew chicken is almost done. Okay, so now my stew chicken is cooked. So I'm going to turn off the heat and let it sit for a few minutes just so it can stew, no pun intended, and its own juices for just a little while longer, just a few minutes. And cool down, and then it's ready to serve. So there you have it, my spicy Jamaican brown stew chicken. I hope this helps you with making Jamaican brown stew chicken, spicy or not. Like I said, I already have a YouTube video of making Jamaican brown stew chicken, but this one I wanted it to be spicy because I like variety. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you return, as I plan to return with more Jamaican cooking and other aspects of high-bedded Jamaican-American art. Till next time!